This video is for all of you beginners out there who are just learning how to paint, how to put a painting together, how to mix your colors, learning how to paint the simplest of things, and you really don't want to spend a whole lot of money on materials. I got a solution for you, and it's not going to cost you anything. Before we get started, please click that like button and the subscribe if you like what I'm doing here, and you can follow along. And if you click the notification bell, you will know when I have a new video up and out on this channel. My name is Vita Evenson, and I paint grease. First of all, when you think of oil painting, we all have in our mind this ideal, this level that we all need to be on, because the great oil painters weren't even on the charts, right? And we're all here thinking that if we're gonna oil paint, we gotta be great masters, and the great masters would only use the highest quality materials. Everything has to be perfect. The perfect studio, the perfect paints, the perfect brushes, the perfect linens, and then you will create your masterpiece. But that's not exactly what happens. So we're gonna kind of like lower the standards a little bit, because hey, if you are beginning to learn how to paint, it's kind of like putting toe shoes on a toddler, because a toddler wants to dance ballet. You're not going to put toe shoes on a toddler, are you? First, they have to learn how to walk. Then they got to learn how to walk and run with sneakers on. And then, eventually when they go through and they begin learning, you can give them their little ballet shoes. And then eventually they will rise up into their toe shoes, and they will go twirling around on the stage in beautiful dances. But until we get there, let's just kind of go barefoot and with the bare minimum. The trick is you get to scrounge through your house, and you're gonna find things that you can use to paint on. Okay, my goodness, look at all this stuff. The first thing that I'm going to show, first of all, I'm not affiliated with anything here, with anyone. This is just a basic watercolor block, and it's 30 sheets. It's a pretty good size for studies. You can just take a sheet of this. Let me open it up. So I don't remember how much I got this for, but really couldn't have been more than I don't know, 4 or 5 euros. Really inexpensive. And you get, look at this. You get 30 opportunities to do your studies with. So I'm going to show you a little bit later how we can prepare this, even though it's not paper for oil painting. If you haven't got anything else, look what we can do here. Paper plate. Yeah, can you believe that? You can take a paper plate and paint on it. I'll show you how I prepare that in just a minute. We've got a cereal box, an egg carton. How the heck can you use an egg carton? But you can. And we often have pieces of wood lying around, right? This would be a pain in the tushy, so I probably wouldn't use that, but definitely I could use a side. And it's worn out here, cut up, and it's got these edges here. Do we care? Not really. So those are just taking some of the basic things and seeing, can they work? And I have your basic, very basic gesso, and not the high quality stuff. It's not oil primer. It's not It's nothing. It's just a very basic gesso, and this is the crux of what is needed. I think I went out at this place here in Greece. I didn't pay more than €8 for it. Don't quote me on that. Between 8 and 10 euros, somewhere in there. It was not expensive. Okay, so let's get started. What's really important on this is just to gesso the area that you need. So I'm going to take a brush that's slightly damp. So you can mix this with water as well, but when I'm going right on dry surfaces like wood surfaces, I just go right in, depending on the quality of the gesso. This gesso is pretty thinned out. It's loose enough, and there we go. And you would do this a couple of times. Add a couple of layers. There you go. Now, what do you do with an egg carton? This is your palette right here. Okay. It's a small one, but sometimes you just want to do a small little painting. But it works just fine. Again, we are going to cover it in gesso. And if you need something bigger, let's cut this up and see what happens here. What have we got? Doesn't have to be perfect. You can cut it in half. Gesso it, just a couple of layers and you'll be fine. And here's an example of the Lemon Challenge painting that I used with this very same canvas. Paper plate. You can just leave it as is. And then come in and cut it if you want. Or you can leave it as is. A hairdryer is your best friend when you are gessoing using acrylic gessos. It's canvases for like $1.50, and they are, very, very cheap and expensive canvases, not great quality. You can see they're a little bit not tight, they're, you think, well, I can't paint on this, but in fact, if you just gesso it and you let it sit and dry, it will tighten it up quite a bit. And again, these are just for studies. They are not for finished paintings. If they turn out, you can definitely even sell them. They just won't be archival, and that's okay. So again, I'm just taking my gesso and applying it to the canvases. I'm using the hairdryer in between to help them dry. So whether you're using like drawing paper or a cereal box, or maybe you found like really cheap canvases at the local discount store, they're all perfect. They're exactly what you need to create your artwork. You can paint, as you can see, on pieces of wood that you have laying around. You can paint on tiles. You can even paint on paper plates. All you need to do is gesso everything and gesso it well, and it'll work beautifully for learning how to paint, for creating your studies, for learning about mixing colors, creating form, creating atmospheric perspective. You can do all of it very frugally and move yourself into the place where you will require higher quality canvases, and you will know what to do with it. You will know how to put your painting on it and how to care for it and how to enjoy it fully. All right, you guys, so with that, be inspired, be creative, be you, and I will see you in the next video.